Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the NoBS podcast. I'm here with the boys, and we just saw a movie, the newest one from Robert Rodriguez. It's called ALITA BattleBots. ALITA Battle Angel.
Come on, bro.
But to be honest, I made that joke earlier. We're on the phone earlier, but it did feel like BattleBots in there. I wasn't expecting it to be so much like robot fighting. I mean, I don't know what I expected.
True.
But the trailer, and this is another thing I noticed coming out of the movie, I think I was saying to you, a lot of unexpected things in here. Like there was definitely like the trailer got me interested, and then a lot of twists and turns in the movie. Overall,
a lot of good actors too in the movie.
Yeah, great cast surprised me as well. Like a lot of cool stuff. I don't know if it's the best movie necessarily, but definitely fun and enjoyed it. We saw it in 3D IMAX, which looked excellent.
Yeah, I actually would definitely if we're gonna do recommendations,
yeah,
3D is the way to do it.
Great quality, but that's enough for me. Let me get you guys started. What are your guys' first thoughts? Go ahead with Con Man.
I'm Connor. I thought it was a pretty solid action movie. A cheesy, great action teen movie that is worth a watch on 3D.
Go ahead with Con Man.
So it really depends on what you're looking for. But if you're looking for good action, and especially with 3D glasses and high-tech technology, you forgot to mention one important part of this film, and that's the fact that it's produced by the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-great James Cameron.
James Cameron.
He also wrote it.
James Cameron doesn't really mess up.
He wrote this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a lot of James Cameron world and action in it. You know, very universal in terms of the plot. As I said,
it is
teeny, cheesy. So
it's a manga, right? Or it was
a
book beforehand.
Based on something. That's why I was getting the vibe of it. I'm not familiar with it, but that another thing that reminds me of now that you say it is Robert Rodriguez. He's a director. He had some great classics in the 90s. Spy Kids, Desperado, El Mariachi, Faculty. What was the other one? I forget.
So he found a true American
from
James Cameron, who has been voyaging down the deep seas, working on the Titanic, winning Oscars, having 2 of the top 5 highest gross movies of all time. Brought his touch to it, and it's a fun movie.
It's a good mix, and then I didn't realize that he wrote it, and it reminded me of another one of his great movies. Rodriguez collaborates well because From Dusk Till Dawn was written by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And that was another one. For me, that's a classic. I mean, that's more like a gore. It's not as big a deal. It's kind of like
I think it's one of those good underrated horror movies that when you show your friends, they're going to be generally entertained because it's just it's a good story
and it's a good script. And I didn't realize that James Cameron wrote ALITA. Yeah. And he's known obviously Cameron's had some great scripts and good or bad. I mean, Titanic has some questionable dialogue, but he knows how to write a script.
Well, Titanic was also cheesy. Yeah, a cheesy teen love story in a lot of ways, but then had a lot of big, epic action set pieces that kind of brought everybody in. The stakes are usually so high that everyone can kind of agree and get into it, So it's very democratic films that he makes. He doesn't really alienate any audience.
Yeah, well, he knows that's cool. He understands that, and that's why his movies sell the highest grossing of all time.
Exactly.
So
and then the other Cameron signatures I noticed in this. I don't want to give him too much credit because Rodriguez is known for a lot of CGI and high tech action, not as much as Cameron, obviously, because Cameron's the top one, and you think of Avatar. But I got a lot of Avatar vibes from this. And another thing I noticed, as far as some of the characters, was how how the ALITA chick, the main character, for you guys that don't know, basic plot premise is it's in the future. It's like this dystopian future. There's a lot of robots. People have robot arms and body parts. And in the beginning, basically, this doctor kind of finds this abandoned robot.
Yeah,
that's the basic setup. And that robot is probably the best character in the movie. Lead character, she nails it.
She's ALITA.
Yeah,
she's ALITA.
The movie's about her.
It's her. It makes sense. But I'm just saying she did a good job. But then what I was getting to was the look, and then she has that unique eyes and this CG face, but it blends really well. It doesn't distract. And
she's a pretty attractive robot, I would say.
Yeah, she's probably at one time was a pleasure bot, a pleasure model.
Yeah.
And she had those big Disney eyes. That's where I was going to. It's the Disney eyes. And that's what Cameron did in the Avatar with the Na'vi.
That's true.
Is going with those big eyes.
Zoe Saldana was also a very attractive alien. Yeah. So he knows how to
and it's the same kind of thing.
Cross species and make love. And
he knows how to make you want to have sex with something that's not human.
Yeah, with an alien.
Which is not an easy task.
Interesting.
I mean, come on, those xenomorphs from Aliens too.
What about the water monster and the aliens from Abyss? So he's always bringing cultures together. Yeah. It takes a guy like James Cameron in the society we live in these days to really bring robots and people and different races and cultures together. So anybody out there who wants the world to be closer, Go and watch Alita, Battle Angel.
He raised the bar.
James Cameron, I can give you my account number if you want to give me some money for the marketing. I'm trying to help you with your great interracial.
Yeah,
movie.
Can't wait for Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
They all come out like so. You know,
I just hope it comes out soon enough because I'm starting to get old, so I don't want to die before all the Avatar movies come out.
But
well, now that Disney owns him.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna come out.
I think they're like creepy. You're like, now that they own him.
I mean,
but he's probably the one wild card for them to deal with because he's in his where's James at? You know where he's at? Oh, he's in some submarine somewhere. We don't know what he's doing.
He's looking for Atlantis.
Disney has their own like elite force that will
he's writing some new script that's going to contain some new language of fish that he's creating.
He's going to change the game of film.
Yeah. The things that didn't work were the love story. I thought the actor that they had for that. Maybe it's because of my age. I thought the guy.
Well, I mean, it was a teen movie at heart.
Yeah.
And once I knew that, then I really enjoyed.
But he's like wearing bandanas a lot. I feel like no one wears bandanas in a cool way. They wear it just to seem like they're tough.
Yeah.
What helps does a bandana really help anyone with? Like, what's the
sweat?
Unless it's a functional bandana, like bandanas for style are definitely not cool.
No, that's what he was doing.
And I know what you mean. Yeah, there's definitely that teen element. That's kind of like maybe it's not our demographic. Wouldn't say it completely ruined it, but there's definitely some cringy love moments, like just like, oh, I love you, let me touch your hand, and just like dumb little stuff. And then,
well, I mean, I think the violence over on the other side made it,
the violence was awesome. It was some of the coolest action I've seen in a while. Yeah, great in 3D. I mean, overall, you like robot fighting, cool CGI. This definitely gives you that. I mean,
it is. It's like that BattleBots, and like that's the thing. And then I want to get back to some of the things I didn't expect. Actually, I don't want to ruin it for everyone.
Don't ruin it.
Only a few people are watching, so there's not going to be spoilers. But yeah, there just was a few things where I just didn't know. Okay, like just for example, I mean, we already talked about this, so it's like I didn't realize everyone's going to be robots. I just saw the kind of trailer, the premise I told you guys before. A robot falls from the sky, doctor fixes her up. But when you get into the story, there is some cool stuff, like details, like there's like a lot of robots. There's a lot of people with these robot parts, and there's the whole future thing, and then the
whole big city, like the city in the sky versus on the ground. The slums and the difference in terms of the inequality and the class system they had there. So that was pretty interesting.
That was cool.
I mean, they left. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It was very entertaining and like. One of those popcorn movies in February. So like you want to just come like
I bought popcorn. It's like $9 popcorn to watch this.
So. Look at that. You got
So I provided the food for this podcast tonight. The nutrition
sponsored by Connor.
Sponsored by Connor's popcorn.
Carbohydrates that are working right now.
And like I think it's a welcome like kind of like blockbuster for February.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would match up that's why it's not in the summer. Like it wouldn't match up to like a great Marvel or another comic or another like Star Wars or something too.
It might end up being better than the X-Men movie coming out though. So
yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of misses out there. I think it could be better in Captain Marvel. Like I have my doubts about Captain Marvel too. I want it to be good.
It's Marvel, dude. I don't think they're gonna.
I was rewatching Iron Man 2 because it's on Amazon Prime. Amazon, if you want to send me a free month membership, that'd be cool. Save me some money for the advertising I'm giving you right now. But Iron Man 2 was actually pretty disappointing of a movie overall. The action in Alita was way better than any of the action in Iron Man 2.
I think it's actually my least favorite of all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
They waste the War Machine, and then the bad guy fight sequence is very short.
Yeah.
So and then a lot of things.
Mickey Rourke is like some Russian scientist. Come on.
There's definitely been like hits or misses.
I have a Draco, bro.
And the thing I would give this credit to, because another thing it reminds me of is like it kind of had me some hints of like a Star Wars vibe and but not necessarily like on the same level, but just like the world building, like we talked about. We're in the future. There's technology. There's like a backstory.
I think it was like it was 2543. I think
2563.
Yeah, like hundreds of years in the future. And then I like how they teased like some of the background, like you don't really know. And I was interested because I'm like, how did the war happen? Like they mentioned some war, but you don't talk about it, and it kind of is realistic too, because it's like if that happened in their timeline like hundreds of years before, you're not going to like always be talking about it.
Yeah, but did you guys notice, did they say it was on Earth? I don't remember them actually saying it was on Earth.
I'm not sure. Yeah, there's definitely like one scene like they're on the moon. There's Mars is mentioned.
Yeah, so I mean those could be.
But there could be many moons, right? Technically.
True.
But yeah, Mars is mentioned, so you think it might be in the Milky Way galaxy overall. But it is a big world. The one thing we'd say, which isn't too much of a spoiler, that it does kind of leave open for a trilogy, for a sequel. Like you don't get exactly the closure that you think you're going to get in this movie. So I'm not necessarily, it's another freaking like 8 sequels that we're going to have to wait for James Cameron.
The whole thing. There's a little bit of a letdown, like, oh, we're setting up for a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think if you have a good enough movie, don't worry about setting up the sequel. It will come. Yeah. Like just do this, bring the characters into a new situation. Like that's what we want to see as an audience. We don't want to like see it just because you're like, that's what was the Terminator, the newer one that just was made recently, the Genesis. Same thing. They've ruined a lot of its chances to make it a successful movie by one, the trailer for the movie, and two, the way they ended it with on a huge.
Did you notice? Speaking of Genesis, another bad part of that movie, which was Jai Courtney, the actor. He was in this, but like
for 2 seconds.
5 seconds.
That was a good job, James Cameron.
See him after
James Cameron's like, no, I don't want this guy.
Yeah, this guy's way too much. He's that Australian guy. He was in like
he was
played John McClane's son in Die Hard.
Sports players, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That guy's the worst.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, I don't think
you're not gonna. He doesn't want you to send him anything.
No, I don't need anything, dude.
And that was another thing like that surprised me. And again, I mean, there's not like a ton of people watch. They probably don't care.
There will someday because I'm going to release this too on What the Fall show.
Yeah, if you haven't watched ALITA, but basically there's that sport that comes up in the movie.
Murder Ball.
And I didn't really see that coming at all. And like it was kind of like a pleasant surprise, but it also like it gave me that like teen vibe, like how we're talking about the teen and the love story, and it's like I feel like that's why they want to put that like sport in there, just to like I don't know, whatever kids like to play these games, like because they also have those scenes where the kids are playing it, and they're trying to like look up to them.
Definitely
like
was a bigger part of the world than I expected. Into it,
and that's what reminded me of I don't know specifically, like a little bit of like the Phantom Menace and the original, like the prequels, because they had that like pod racing side story, and it like kind of like had that vibe to it where they wanted to have this just like kind of game mixed in.
Well, that makes sense. Cool. I mean, there was like I want to say with most of these like adolescent films, there's always some sort of big event like the schoolyard game.
Everyone's working towards.
Like it's like they engage in it, and that
this is what makes you cool if you're good at this.
Like Ender Game, remember Ender Game? They'd have all the games against each other.
Dude, that's what I was thinking. Like other movies like that, like even like in some ways Hunger Games. That's what I was gonna say. Like I mean, Hunger Games is more vital to the plot. Like, and it was like, oh, this is what the world's all about. But in a way, it's similar because it gets they basically have these kids in these big competitions, and it's like the whole society revolves around that sport.
Well, I was pretty surprised how quick it started. Like I thought there was going to be backstory that she was like raised by him for a long time, but he finds her and but it's not really spoilers. He finds her and boom, and she's like a teenager by the end of the day, and she's already disobeying him. And like that part was a little rushed, but there was a lot that had to happen in the movie, so I guess they had to start quick.
And that reminds me again, because that's like also in a way in my. What I think is like it's like good screenwriting because you have a lot to do, and you kind of just like you could tell it's written by, like you said, someone like Cameron, probably co-written by Rodriguez or looked over, and it's just it's like they have it boom, 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 everything like kind of like goes down the line like really well, instead of like kind of clunky or whichever it happens. Like that's I could tell that whenever we see it. It's like good. It's good sci-fi.
Yeah, it was.
It's good sci-fi. And fun. I wouldn't look too much into it. I think we sound mostly positive.
Definitely mostly positive.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say like too super positive. Just kind of like
if you like robot action,
and like I said earlier, I would definitely, if you really are going to invest in this movie,
3D,
invest 3D IMAX because it really helps with selling the world and selling the action and like some of that stuff. I think without the 3D might look kind of lame.
Like another robot movie.
Or the CGI would look really.
How would it be different than like Real Steel, that Hugh Jackman movie with robots?
Yeah, well, I thought it was more hard.
Reminds me of that. I could see that
for sure.
And I think too, like where you were going with the 3D, and just like I noticed that as well when it's done right, like this one. It was like some of it's subtle, like it's not always like in your face 3D stuff. Like some of it's just subtle, and then other times it does go crazy, like some of the fight scenes, and there's a lot of good choreography with the fights. Like one scene that's really cool is just like this robot hand with fingers kind of coming at the screen twisting. Like that part looked crazy, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this is good for CGI, and then it's also in a way it mixes good with the 3D, like because the CGI and then you have the 3D glasses and then the high definition. It's just like it all clicks.
It's like definitely worth it. Like it'll sell the experience. And
well, I would be ready to rate it. I don't know if you guys are.
I think we're good. Solid Gamer, Chumpy, thanks for tuning in. We're talking about ALITA. Final thoughts or go right to ratings. I mean, I'd easily give it like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, good action. I'd give it a 6.9 out of 10. Watch it 3D if you're going to see it. It's worth in the theater.
I think I used to do 5 flames, so I'd do 3
you switched
flames.
up. You're already changing.
I forgot. I haven't done the
It's been a while. It's been a while.
So yeah, I would do 3. You know, like nothing more than that. Maybe you might argue like a 2.5 if you're being picky, but just for fun.
Like again, once you realize what it is, it's a young adult action flick, but like with the cool, atmosphere and all that good action. I'm gonna give it a 7, like a solid 7.
That's good.
It was worth watching in the theaters.
Good movie. I don't really remember the trailers.
Yeah, I missed most of it.
There is a lot going on this month.
Well, there was one was X-Men. That's why I mentioned.
Oh yeah. And like I think you hinted at. I'm not sure about that X-Men, man.
Like, it looks like it's gonna suck so bad, but maybe because I think it's gonna suck so bad, it's better.
It's like we've heard the background stories too. I have a bad feeling since they delayed it and re-edited it and all this. It's like
Sansa Stark isn't Phoenix. I don't know.
Well, and like the thing is now that Disney has the rights back, it's gonna be tough. I think the New Mutants has a chance to actually be like its own individual movie. But the thing about the Dark Phoenix is like we just saw that less than 12 years ago. Like we already saw what happened.
Yeah, I know.
And the same outcome
is crazy.
Like,
they want to do that again, like so similar.
Yeah. The question will be:
There's so many other bad guys
better than Last Stand?
Well,
that movie was associated. So that'll be the real
Brett Ratner is a terrible person and director. So like
you don't know him. You don't know his heart.
There's been some accusations.
I like Rush Hour.
I believe it.
Yeah. Rush Hour is a classic though.
Rush Hour 1 through 3 is entertaining, man.
That's all there are.
No, there's that Pierce Brosnan and Don Cheadle one. Selma Hayek, and they're like Jewel Thieves. That one's pretty good. Red Dragon isn't terrible. That was not him.
Oh,
that was John McTiernan, way better actor. Die Hard with a Vengeance
director.
But yeah, other good movies this month.
That's about it.
Cold Pursuit looks good.
Oh, that was this month.
Cold Pursuit.
Lego movie was Lego.
We saw Lego last week.
That was very
great.
solid.
Yeah,
very solid.
I forgot to mention that. I think it was solid. The one thing I'll note, I don't know what this says, but it didn't do really well. I guess it's like some people are saying there's like fatigue.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
Like it didn't sell a lot.
Chris Pratt fatigue too. I don't think Chris Pratt has the name necessarily anymore. It's like Chris Pratt's star. It's like, oh my god, I gotta watch because he's so.
Well, that also could be like fatigue. Like The Rock 2 is also hitting a slow patch.
But he's like producing this movie, and so maybe it's just enough.
Well, it's like it's still doing well. It just they lied like 20 million less than the original one. Yeah. But overseas, it's gonna make its money back. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It just sucks. It probably won't. It is true. They rushed it out when there's already been a Lego Batman movie and a Lego Ninjago movie. So it's like there's been so many different Lego movies.
Yeah, and I don't know what it's just like. I think there's also just general fatigue in general. Like there's so many big movies coming out. I mean, we're always stoked. Like we like to watch a lot of different things, but other people like they go to like 3 movies a year. You know, so it's
I heard then too. Like the percentage of moviegoers are down 13% this year. As compared to last year. So
it's been down so far. Starting.
So they're like struggling.
They're just waiting. They're waiting for Endgame.
Have better movies. Yeah. I just don't know how What Men Want wasn't an amazing success. I mean, who doesn't want to watch that?
They want to do a sequel to it.
I was really hoping
that it actually made its money back immediately.
Wow.
I mean, it looks funny enough.
We know
but
why.
It's like it's definitely
because it's a funny movie.
It's another girl like takeover. You know, like the What Men Want. Or What Women Want.
Oh, sorry, they want us to call it a retooled, not a remake, because it's a retool.
It's like the same movie, but gender and race.
It's like Ghostbusters. Like Ghostbusters, like Ocean's 8.
Yes.
You know, like they're just like the lady version. So
the lady universe.
We'll see how that turns out. We've got a couple other movies for another stream sometime soon. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thank you guys.
Oh yeah, always
my co-hosts.
Thank you. You can find a podcast stuff at my WTF show. We just released an Aquaman one. I'm gonna release the Creed 2 one because we did that when it came out, but it's coming out on DVD. So I'm doing a release. Actually, I thought it sucked. So it's gonna mostly be how that movie is slightly better than Rocky 5.
It wasn't Rocky 5.
It was slightly better than Rocky 5.
Anyways,
yeah, it's gonna be a negative review of Creed 2. Go ahead and check that out coming up at my WTF show.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Creed 2.
Don't waste your money.
ALITA 1, probably get a 2.
I bet Nicolo liked Creed 2 though. He probably thought it was great.
Such a Nicolo move.
Nicolo mood right now.
But thanks again for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time and stay classy.
Go to sleep, Nicolo.